I want to go over some of the things that you guys wrote in yesterday because there's some great things here. The first one, hi Shannon, I taught, I'm going to put this in a minute, I'll put it up on your screen. Hi Shannon, I taught at a Montessori school for 20 years with typical kids age 3 to 6. I never had to use any stars, stickers, reward charts, etc. It was so easy to teach without compliance rewards. I was a firm, devout believer in intrinsic rewards. That is, until I saw that wasn't working with my own child on the spectrum. I find everything I ask him to do has to be followed with a compliance reward. In other words, all his compliance tasks, compliance takes place because of an intrinsic reward. The opposite of everything I ever did in my teaching. No question, just wanted to share. Thanks for always listening and have a great weekend. And you know what? I so appreciate you saying this because, you know, I think there are a lot of times that we think, well, it should just be this way. But I would, you know, my question to you is that why was that working in the Montessori school? Because I'm going to guess that when the children got there, and this is me guessing, so I could be completely wrong, but that when the children got there, there was an example being made by children who had already been there, and that there was a system that was happening at home. The kinds of people who send their kids to Montessori schools are the kind who aren't punishment driven to begin with, and I'm generalizing, so I might be wrong there, but that there was already a certain amount of compliance that was there because it's rewarding to be compliant intrinsically was on board. And one of the things I want to point out when we talk about compliance is that we start in this place where we give a reward every single time. But what I'm learning as a parent is that it's really important to plan for generalization. You know how I tell you guys that all the time? It's so important we plan for generalization, and that we be mindful of the fact that we want to have a reward thing in place so that it's rewarding for them, but we always want to be pairing it with praise and socially mitigated rewards so that we can start to fade those other things. When I think about some of the things that I used to do for my son to be compliant, and I don't do those anymore, but I've moved it to praise and other things, and he doesn't get praised every time. And still, I need to be, you know, I need to be finding that tightrope of praising enough and giving that reward for doing it and doing it intermittently so that he doesn't always expect it. But I think that that's something that comes with a whole lot of time, and for our kids, it takes a lot longer. But I want to, you know, for both of us, to encourage both of us to think in terms of making sure that we're pairing the praise with the reward, and we don't want to be skimpy on praise. I'm going to guess that in the Montessori school that you were not skimpy on praise. So pairing whatever the reinforcer is with the praise so that we can slowly start to take back the thing that that is the really the contrived reinforcer, so that eventually we just get to praise. But I think it's important for us to talk about that, and I so appreciate your comment, because I too, there was a point when I was like, well, you know, I didn't used to have to do this, really. But I think if you really think about it, the Montessori kids already knew that compliance was rewarding. And for our kids, it takes a while. Just takes a while. Just one of those things. Okay, so another person who says, hi Shannon, I think you and I being older moms of an only child makes it even harder for us to let our boys fail. We need a support group for that. And I said amen to that. And if you want to start a support group online for older moms that have only one child on the spectrum, I'd be at that meeting. We keep talking about potentially adopting a child because I do think that him being the only child isn't always the best thing for him. I just don't know, you know, we go back and forth about it, but it does, you know, and especially being older, I waited so long to have this child, and he is my world, and sometimes that's not the best thing for him. So I feel you, and I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who feels that way. Let's form our support group together. Appreciate it. I could use it. Okay, we had shown the Home Depot clip yesterday, and we'll probably show it again today. This is the free craft that you can do at Home Depot. And somebody wrote in and said, my son loves Home Depot crafts. Thanks so much for sharing this idea. He asks several times each week week to go back. I wish that other stores did the same. I like cooking classes once a month for grocery stores. I just want to point out that there are other stores who do this. Home Depot does this, and they really do it the best, and they do it the first Saturday of the month. And one of the reasons why I like the Home Depot so well, is because they're so considerate of our community. They really are, and they have a paint station. It's really cool. But Lowe's also does something, and sometimes they do it 2 times a month. You can go to their, I think it's called Kids Growing, and it's the same kind of thing. However, for the Lowe's one, you have to pre-register. So they might even be having one tomorrow. Check it out. So you do have to pre-register. It's still free, but if you don't pre-register, I will just tell you that you run the risk of getting there and they've run out. That happens a lot. And then you have a child who is so despondent and upset about it. So take the time to pre-register if you're going to the Lowe's one. They don't have paint at the Lowe's one. They do stickers. So, which is a different skill. Great, though, and really fun. And also, Lowe's, after they do a craft that the kids particularly really love, they often will sell those kits. So if you're in desperate need of doing something and it's the middle of the week and your child's really asking to do that, you can buy some little kits from Lowe's. And there are other stores, there's more and more stores that are doing these kinds of hands-on things. Sometimes Michael's on Saturday. If you have a Michael's store, a craft store near you, they do those kinds of things. Or ask your local craft store. They have everything from cake decorating, and a lot of times it's either free or it can be as little as a $3 fee to come and do that. Some stores, depending on where you are in the world, around the holiday seasons, they'll do gingerbread building houses where you can go into the store and it's not free, but they'll charge you sometimes $8 to have your child decorate a gingerbread house, which is worth it, so you don't have to clean up the mess. It's just, with the economy, it'll be interesting to see how many people are doing it. But there are more and more places who are doing, because it's smart. I mean, who are we kidding here? Home Depot, this is so smart of them. They're creating the next generation of customers. And I never go on a Saturday morning that I don't go, I'm so glad I'm here at the hardware store because I need X, Y, and Z, and I go in and spend money. It's very smart. And more stores, even in this economy, are realizing we need a way to get the parents in the door. Let's have something for the kids. So check it out. Check out Lowe's and check out Michael's to see what they're doing in your area. And maybe we'll try to compile a list of some of the different things that people are doing. I love the cooking one. Jamie Oliver is doing a thing where he's touring the country and he has like a bus and they do that kind of thing with kids. I imagine that the line to do that is incredible. Another person who said, to our answer to our question of what do you wish your children could tell you, wrote in and said, I just want my daughter to talk to me. Yell, scream, get mad about her autism, anything. I'd love conversation for that. And I thank you for writing that in. Such an important thing for all of us to be reminded, for those of us who've got kids that are yelling and screaming, to realize that there are parents who are wishing for that. And I hope that you're working towards that. Another person who said, my child's full-time aide uses an iPad to give me communication each day. The aide also uses that iPad as a visual tool to support my son in his 3rd grade mainstream class. One of the things that I said yesterday is that people talk about how amazing iPads are and how, I can lay in bed and read my magazine. I love Oprah. But Oprah was saying, boy, this iPad has changed the way I move through my day. It's amazing. And I don't want to take anything away from people who love the iPad for that. I just want to say that for a lot of people that I've talked to, it gives them an ability to be able to talk to their child, and also for the aide to be able to talk to you. I mean, I literally get chills. It's life-changing. And I do want to say that it's not just iPads, that there's other tablets too, but it is an amazing thing. It really is. What a wonderful thing that we couldn't have known that was coming, that could serve our community so well, and how grateful I am, and I know that so many of you are. You know, I had my birthday wish, and we still haven't reached the exactly, but we're getting there, that I wanted people to give $1. If you want to do that, I think it's still on our Facebook. If you want to give $1 to my birthday wish, I just had my 50th birthday, give $1, and it's going to go towards an iPad to help one more child be able to communicate. It's a really important thing. Somebody else, I mentioned that we're not going to be live next week. I'm taking the week off. It's my son's fall break, and somebody said, I will miss you, Shannon. Have a wonderful week. Want to remind everybody that while I'm not going to be here doing live shows, we'll still be playing live shows. There's all kinds of things to catch up on YouTube if you're missing me, and I'm on Facebook. I'll be on Facebook from time to time, so you don't have to miss me too much. So there you go. Okay, what else we have here? Somebody else when saying about what they wish their child could communicate. I wish my son could tell me when his feelings get hurt or if he is suffering in any way because of sensory issues or physical issues. I think that's a wonderful thing that we need to foster our children being able to communicate about what hurts where. Do you know that even when children are vocal, that is still a difficult thing, and we don't have to think, we can think outside the box on this, that we actually, for quite a while after my son was very vocal, he still has a hard time, sometimes to this day, telling me what he's feeling and what it feels like, because he hasn't had an experience at it, right? We don't always have, we talk about having opportunity, but how often does he have a headache to tell me? And fortunately, he doesn't have a headache very often. So you can still, with a very vocal child, use iconic communication to describe where it hurts. You know, doctors do this all the time. Even with adults who aren't on the spectrum, they give a picture and say, point to where it hurts. And if you can with a child, if they have enough receptive language, to say to them, you know, if one is that it hurts like you got a little like somebody just stuck their thumb on you, or 10 is that it's on fire and it's burning, you want to cry, what number would you give it? Now, not all kids have that kind of receptive language, but at least being able to point to a picture, just an outline of a body, and say, you know, show mom where it hurts. It can be really, really useful. Somebody wrote in and said, how can you get to be a part of that study? I'm guessing that it was when we were talking with Angela Persicki about anxiety, and I was saying that the Autism Research Group, they take information from you guys about what you would like to see researched, and they do research projects from time to time. And when they need participants for a study, we will absolutely let you know. And there's the Autism Research Group website. Thank you, Emily. You can go on their site right now and look and take their surveys. And they also post on their website if they're looking for families to participate in a study. It's a really awesome thing. I know we had the bedtime pass. I don't know if they're still looking for, but they were looking for a couple of families who would be willing to do the bedtime pass with them, and they would give supervision for it, phone supervision, to take the data on it. So they might still be looking. We'll ask Dr. Tarbox when he comes in. He might know. But at any time we find information about a study where they're looking for participants, whether it's Autism Research Group or somebody else, we will absolutely let you know. And likewise, if you know of somebody who's looking for people that we haven't already said, please let us know. Now, somebody wrote in this morning and said, hi, Shannon. I wrote in about a week ago about having an aide on my child's bus. My parents' statement they didn't want to follow because transportation didn't get a chance to agree or give their input at the IEP, as I recall. So we just decided to get an advocate and request an IEP meeting to revise. We were told today that there will be an aide on the bus. Yay for the kids and the driver and whoever made the decision. You know what? I'm so glad that you wrote back and told us. And this is, you know, one of those instances where you go, yay, happy ending. And this is what I call the school district decided to buy a vowel. And I want everybody to know that sometimes this happens. I know we all sit there and go, I don't want to be adversarial. I don't want to push. There's this whole aspect of what's happening at school that's working, and I don't want to, And I always say it's easier to get things with honey than with vinegar, but there are times when we lawyer up or advocate up or just say, I'm putting this in writing so that if anything happens and they go, okay, this parent means business, let's not frog around, let's do the right thing. I wish it didn't take that, but sometimes it does. I'm thrilled for you that your child now has an 8 on the bus, and I love that you said yay for the kids on the bus and yay for the bus driver, because it isn't just our children on the bus that it makes a difference to, right? We talked, was it yesterday that we talked about the young man on the bus who had an 8, got out of his harness, was biting people, called the police, and he was handcuffed, an 11-year-old. Yep. But this right here is a happy ending to the story because the 8 is on the bus, and that's a great thing. And that happened because you showed up. So yay for you. Yay for you that you got that done. Good job, Mom.